Anne Lombard. I come from Farmers Choice, part of the quality assurance team. So the whole objective of coming for the vdma was again networking, getting an opportunity to be in the same room with the other stakeholders who share the same interest, getting to meet the regulators, finding out what's new, what's happening. So that was the whole point, which I think was quite well met. We had a majority of regulators around. We also had other people of the same industry, others of different industries, where we were able to share ideas. So it was really good. We shared ideas. A bit of some of the myths that are outside there were debunked. The regulators got an opportunity to at least hear our voice, understand what our problems are. So I think it was pretty good. It's a very good learning process. And then again, for us, we also get to be helped, because there's a lot of help out there that people don't know is there. So when you come here and then someone gives you more or less a place to go ask where you can get your answers from, it's really good, helps the sector grow, helps the industry, and gives a lot of confidence, mostly in our regulators and of course for the manufacturers in large.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to welcome you all here in our workshop. Let me especially welcome Mr. Robert Colonzo from the Ministry of Health. It's a pleasure to have you here also, and some other members of the ministries.
We really wanted to welcome you to our center of expertise for food safety and maintenance. But specifically, what are we doing? What is our engagement here in Kenya? And that is setting up the center of expertise. And expertise comes in can be delivered in different packages. One package is training, professional development, which is the area we have started with. And other packages can be consultancy and all of those things, which will come on stream later. We have decided to focus on these two areas, food safety and maintenance, because in our view, these are the two very, very strategic areas for economic and industrial development in Kenya, and as a matter of fact in Africa generally. We have this focus on maintenance because we talk a great deal about maintenance, about industrialization, how industrialization is going to be the key to creating jobs and incomes and a virtuous cycle of wealth. But you can't have any industrialization if you don't have maintenance. And we have the experience of the last 60, 70 years even, where trillions of dollars have been poured into industrialization, into buying the best equipment. But then we also know what happens to this best equipment shortly after that. There's virtually nothing left. We never see the full useful life of this equipment, and therefore the recovery of your investment is rather questionable. You can't have industrialization without maintenance, and there is a shortage of expertise, of skills and things like that, and that is where we are focused. We've come in there because we believe maintenance is a strategic capability, and that's why we are investing our time, our skills, our money, but most importantly, our insights. What we mean with this is that we should educate. We need to educate, we need to upgrade the skill level, the expertise levels of all the people who work in these industries, in these processes. And if we can do that, then you have a combination of both. You have the buy-in and pressure, the leadership from the top, and you have, things can only be implemented in detail. You don't implement in general. It's the people who are doing the job day after day who need to know what is being done, why it is being done.
My name's Fabian Kaburu. I work for Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization in the Kapete Westlands. I'm an irrigation engineer. I deal with the irrigation, water, quality aspect of the crop production. And in this workshop, it was very, very relevant to the nature of work I do, because 70% of this country is actually arid and semi-arid land. And for that reason, the water quality for irrigation is actually a big issue, very saline water. But critically is the water that farmers in urban and peri-urban farmers are using for production, basic production. And you find that due to the fact that there is no proper regulation on the dumping or the waste around the towns, the soils are actually toxic for the plants. The water is so brackish, so bad for quality aspect of the water. The fact that metals that are heavy, like lead, like copper, like chromium, selenium, arsenic, these are heavy metals that are actually carcinogenic. And they found that many farmers around the river Nairobi, from Ondiri in Kikuyu all the way to Kamban to Ramu, if you do the tracking of these metals accumulation along, there is so much in the food stuff actually. So in today's workshop, I've learned that the National Food Safety Authority is about to be formed. And CARO, being one of the important stakeholders in the agricultural research, we have a stake to actually bring in the aspect of regulations on how to control the irrigation around the riparian area in a more controlled way, in a way that actually farmers can actually grow their crops in a qualitative way without having to have contamination away from food production system. And also, I think it is also important that I've learned we need to collaborate as stakeholders and harmonize the regulations. For example, the Agricultural Act about the usage of the riparian land contradicts the Fiscal Planning Act and the Surveyors Act and the Environment Act about how far should the farmers keep away from the river, the riparian land. We need to harmonize these rules so that we can stick to that and actually be able to work as a team.
You need to understand the issues, you need to understand the science, you need to understand not just what you should do, but why you should do it. You need to understand, only if you understand the whys, the causal relationships, only if you understand that, will you be able to develop your processes to properly implement the standards. So just, training people in the standard is not going to get us implementation. You know what to do, but you don't know how to actually implement those. Which is why we have our focus on education. Where are we in this whole story?
Allow me to say that at the beginning, we need to appreciate these two terms. This is about the product. This is about the hazard. It's about the risk of the hazard, really consider now, whether chemical, whether biological, or physical. And Gordon, you have talked about food safety. And for sure, food safety does not belong to the government alone. It does not belong to the producer alone. Neither does it belong to the consumer. It is for everybody. From that world to this world, you all have a role to play on this. And the reason why it is for everyone's business, because this gentleman will prescribe for you the non-reducible minimum. That is what you will do in the law. You will do the standard, you will do the protocol, you will do the guideline for the operator to follow. The consumer is expecting protection from these two. But we remind the consumer that, again, you have a role to play. He may do it right. He may do it right. It gets worse at your door. You have a role. The business operator, you have to inform the consumer. What do you want the consumer to do with the food? Take a country like Denmark, where you know majority, especially NFSCC have been there. You know the institutions which are there. But that handover is very clear and straight to the point, such that there is no gap at all. So, the ultimate responsibility is with the food business operator. And that is the reason you'll get the regulator, when he is doing the law, he is trying to address this person. Because as I sit here, I don't know what you are going to take for lunch. I'm not the chef. Yes, when it goes bad, you'll hear, where is the Minister of Health? Hey, we have eaten, we have started diarrheaing, we are running up and down. Where are they? Did you expect them to be the chef? No. This responsibility is with this final person. If anything goes wrong with the Fairfield, you will ask Fairfield, ideally, what has it happened? How come this has happened? But remember, the responsibility is very clear. For example, he has provided you with this. If he can demonstrate that I have now done nothing to this, and there is an issue with this, then the responsibility now shifts to Aquamist, because he's the owner. So, it is case by case. Within the country, these are the giants. And these are the giants for food safety. Why am I saying so? It's because food safety, as we have been told with the chain, it will start with the producer. This is Kilimo House. This is where the chain starts. These guys who sit in for the food within the Ministry of Health, they get involved from the farm gate all the way to the table. If anything has happened behind here this way, definitely, if the button of handover was not very clear, definitely you are expected to go to the table. Things won't be well. It is still a chain. So the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Health, very important. But you need to tread. It's about business. When you mention food safety, most of the things come into play in food control. Food control means government. Wherever you go, because food safety is a suffering to a country. You cannot leave food safety for everybody, because the government needs to do it. And the only way government can do it is sometimes you need to work and do it. Let me give you an example. If you wake up here and you decide, my brother, to go to Nyandarua and you construct a factory, and you want to start making alcohol. County of Nyandarua will do nothing to you. They will tell you, go back to the national government for clearance to do this. I've just given you an example of one food item which you cannot produce unless the national government comes into play. Baking, you'll see a lot of overlaps with these mandates, and the reason of the handover of the baton needs to be very clear. Disease surveillance and veterinary. So, whenever you mention about disease surveillance, there is a lot to do with One Health here. Those diseases which you'll find in the animal, you find them in the man, you get issues to do with the environment. And therefore the issue of One Health. And therefore, again, so many institutions will be touching on that. Very important institution for us as a country, the standards body, for the purpose of developing the standards which will be met. Quality assurance testing and metrology. That is Kenya Bureau of Standards. They do the standards. So you get, whenever they develop standards, kindly stop calling them KFC standards. They are not KFC standards. They are called national standards. Kenya Fisheries Service is a body with an act of parliament for the purpose of the fisheries policy, and anything to do with the matters of the quality of the fish. Kenya Daily Board. You may, the reason why Kenya Daily Board, one of the fastest growing sectors in the country, other than tourism, it is this one. I may be wrong, I don't have the correct data, but that is what I know. I know they cannot be more than number 3 when it comes to daily, to issues of daily. Other than tourism, I think daily is one of our fastest growing sector. And therefore, as a country, you will need to have an interest in this for the purpose of growth of the country. And therefore, all set institutions only to enter matters to do with milk and milk products. Pest control products board, not pesticides. These are the institution which is dealing with any pesticide or any control products which you want to apply to any crops or whatever. They're the ones who do the licensing and trying to track this. The ones who will ensure that, yes, all the chemicals we are using, they are the right one. But remember, they'll do this, but you come and find that the acaricide I'm using on the pig or on the cattle, it is able to do also the vegetables. And it can faster do it than the one which they have told me to do. And you know, this is the problem with Kenyans. One thing with Kenyans are very bright. That's one thing I've known for the years I've worked for the ministry. Very bright and always thinking out of the box. Unfortunately, sometimes we spend a lot of time finding the shortcut to do the wrong thing. If you transform that and you do the right thing, you'll get this kind of very far. And because of this interchange of these products, that is the reason why you will get some rejections of the products, which we do the export. However, it has a scheduled crops which they look at. And that is what they do. National Biosafety Authority. Matters to do with genetically engineered products. If you ask me, of all the institutions I've tried to mention, this being one of the latest institutions to be formed, it had a good thinking. Why? In their law, they are put exactly how they want it to do it. What coordination they want to do. The others may be blind, but with them, they are put exactly. Yes, Department of Public Health, Veterinary, Bureau of Standards, KEFIS, NEMA, KWS, and Kenya Industrial Property Institute. They are there in the law as part of the institutions which facilitate the NBA in doing their mandate. They are put it. And to me, it's one of the laws which is having inbuilt long way. What do you expect from the other legislators? The others, it may be a gentleman's agreement. I decide to call you today, I don't call you. At them, they know they have to call you for your name. So, with all this, where will you go? Which direction will you go? Which institution will you say, when they say this, is where they go? We have the meat issue, is it? How many institutions will be touching on the meat from whatever I've said? I want to see whether you are listening.
As we are looking at, it's a chain. Because the DVS, of course, will come in. The Minister of Health will come in. The regulator will come in. Even the guys for pest control will still have a part to play. Yes.
Thank you. So, these are so many institutions. So many institutions which are there. And the thing is, how do we get out of this? We are thinking of a national food safety surveillance system. It's a system which we want to modernize so that we have data for the purpose of making decisions. The data is from our facilities and from the labs, testing laboratories. Here is samples which are got from the food business operators and the market. This data is the data which will be evaluated so that you know the magnitude of the hazard. And we are starting with these priority products. The milk, the fruits and vegetables, the cereals, and the meat products. We want to do the capacity building and we want to do the sampling and laboratory.
the latest composition of the Food Authority, I didn't see sociologists or the people who deal with anthropology, because the professional may do his work or her work, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with the farmer who's keeping this animal or who's growing the crops. The moral aspect is very, very critical. And number two, these regulations have been there in Kenya for a very long time. I saw you mention Cap 242, which I think is the Public Health Act, but there are other supporting acts, Cap 356. There is another one that deals with the inputs. Where do you place them? Thank you.
When we're looking at the control of food safety, there are so many agencies working on it. And looking at the first few months, some of the things we get into the market, like some of the things we get into the market to get the chemists, the labs and all the others, they conflict on their opinions. What's your judgment on the effectiveness of the controls on food safety on all the food products that come to this country?
Maybe to just support him, the conflicting roles of the various regulators that we have. Is it possible to have a clearly defined role so that we know this is where Ministry of Health ends, this is where Kenya Fisheries starts, this is the role of KEBS, this is the role of the Ministry of Health? Because we've found ourselves in instances where one regulator comes up and says this, the next one comes and gives a conflicting information, so we are wondering what is the true picture of what is on the ground.
Legislation, where do you place other legislations like those touching on other institutions? Remember, I ran the institutions which form the National Food Safety Coordinating Committee. Those institutions each has their legal mandate on what they do. We respect that mandate. And those are the mandates we want to be looking at when you say that you want to form an agency. What is the implication with what you want to say with respect to livestock, for example, livestock production policy, with respect to what the daily body is doing, with respect to what Kenya Bureau of Standards is doing with respect to the standards. What exactly do you want to do? Those are the things we want to get out. David, so many agencies, complete and conflicting laboratory results. Okay. Yes, you'll expect that. You see, the result from the analysis, 60% of the error which you are seeing in the results is about sampling here at the back. For the scientists, they know that.
In your presentation, there is something important you left out. And I want to ask the reason why.
Your name?
Kennedy.
Ken.
Single, yes.
Carry on.
Now, you did not mention the role of corruption.
Is that one of the regulatory bodies?
No, not regulation bodies, but it really affects the implementation of these policies. Now, for example, I'll mention a few things to back or the claim I've just said. There are time back that, and I'm mentioning this majorly concerned with the agriculture, because when you are starting, you said agriculture and Ministry of Health, they're related in a way. So, yes. Now, there was this issue of mercury in sugar. I don't know if you heard it. And then, after that died down, there was something that followed that Minister of Agriculture was saying that we cannot use farmyard manure to produce our crops because it's unhealthy. Now, and then Dairy Regulation Act, I don't know how it was called, but there's a Dairy Act that was coming up to control milk production. And then, thanks to Twitter, there was a lot of heat on the same, and the bill was brought down. Now, my question is, as a body, who is controlling the narrative? Whom do we believe? because not many farmers are educated. Some of them are illiterate or semi-illiterate. And if they see a post on Facebook that so and so doesn't want us to produce because they want to control the market, then it goes that way. So I would request you to act on that, to react on that. Then the second thing, what is the role of research and development in the Ministry of Health and also in the Ministry of Agriculture?
Okay, thank you. My name is Lawrence from the Country Club. I have just 2 questions. What would be the role of the authority and the big mandate? Because I've realized that the problem that we have in these food safety issues are the enforcing agencies. You find that the KEBS, and the last time we had a discussion with the KEBS, they draft very nice standards, and then they stay there. There's no one to enforce that. And again, will there be bare minimum in when people are doing business and like business operators? Like if you're doing business in food, this is the bare minimum. You're supposed to have complied to a certain standard. So those are things that probably I'm looking at.
Okay. To me, it's an issue of building capacity, because all the ministries should always have what they call tough laws. And therefore, if perhaps even within KEPSA itself, all these experts are employed within KEPSA, and therefore we don't have to have Ministry of Health here doing this, Ministry of Agriculture that. So we have everybody under one umbrella with all the various expertise. Just like if you do investigation, it has all the various experts within itself.
My name is Marceline Hua. I'm a food safety and value chain consultant. I have a few concerns. One, I appreciate and agree with Ken. And on Saturday, I wrote an article to Standard on why our policies are failing. And some of the things I highlighted were lack of commitment and transparency. Another thing I highlighted was greed and corruption. And then finally, it was disconnecting dots between M&A in surveillance of our systems. My question is, between the Ministry of Health and the other bodies, and I'm glad we have KEBS in the house, I always try to understand who is in charge of what, in terms of, for the issue of, the other time we had an issue with a product being thrown in the market, a peanut butter, because of the issue of allergen. Is it KEBS who are supposed to give a watchdog on that? Is it the Ministry of Health? As in, who does what? It needs to be clear for us as consumers.
So if we have all these policies and we have so much wastages of food in Kenya, it doesn't help much. So my question is, companies that have solutions on this food security and also to make sure that the farmers have less wastages, how do you help the private companies with this solution to actually contact the right person so that the farmers can access these solutions?
Government should mean something to the consumer. Government and certification should mean that we trust it absolutely, completely. So if we are, as a small miller, questioning a product that is in the custody of government, where are we in terms of food safety? Because you see, we pay for that maize. When it comes to our warehouse, we can't now take it to KEBS, because we've already paid millions for that maize. If we discover there's a problem with that maize, where do we take it?
Very good sentiments. Allow me just to respond. Kennedy, the corruption issue. You know, corruption is two-way. I cannot corrupt me. You must be there for me to do corruption. You get what I'm saying? So, as you blame the regulator, blame also this person who is doing it. And let me tell you one thing, Kenyans. Sometimes doing the right thing, sometimes will always assist you, without going for corners.
Yes, so that the owner policy.
So our gains.
That's where the problem is. Let me just. We are
one there is
in green dress, weighing in at.
Thank you. Okay, so these are our results from our group. And the first question was if the food safety implementation in Kenya is working. Our group was of the idea that it's just partly working, and one of the reasons, or the major reasons why they think it's just partly, not fully working, it's because the manufacturers are not being involved, not being involved in the entire process of policy making. So that was one of our major reasons why this is not working. And then we have the second reason as well. Okay, the stakeholders as well are not involved through the entire process.
So there are those businesses or companies which are already implementing food safety. But they know it's not working. There are so many reasons which were brought up. So the first one is capacity. There is lack of capacity building, which there needs to be training on the curriculum. There is low level of knowledge. We need to train, and then the resources.
What we've heard, we asked for sure the same question. The same questions: is food implementation working in Kenya? And the first thing was to put it rate it on a scale from 0 to 10, and there we could see the difference between the business side and the governmental side. As you can see, government was we are very good because we have everything in place. So the businesses said the reason because they say it's only at 3 is because the skills are not in place, and skills does mean in their businesses when they do their jobs the people are not skilled, and we heard this result. And if the consequences for unsafe food, if you don't take care for that, we put some things together to see what can happen from bad press, shitstorms, recalls and costs like I already showed, lawsuits, damage, compensation payments, and so on and so on. I don't want to read all of this. Ruin of your company at the end of the day, and so on. So that is really a big impact. So to make sure that the food is right, and the consumer can trust what is coming out, because this is what they do. Consumers expect safe products, because whenever you go somewhere and you buy in a supermarket or at a restaurant or whatever, you just trust. You don't check all these things because you cannot as a consumer. So they rely on food manufacturers to deliver products that they can trust. And how can this happen? And now coming to the question in the beginning, how can this have an impact on your brand? Assurance of safety and quality in the food supply chain. This is very important. And compliance, we've heard this also in the presentation of the group results earlier on, compliance with the complex legislation and standards, a correct storage, shipping, packaging, distribution in food ingredients, materials and products, traceability of all ingredients, materials and products, implementation of a hazard and risk management system. And this is coming more to food safety and maintenance, because this has to do with that, to implement that kind of management system to make sure that the whole production is covered with this.
Liner Solutions makes labels, printing and labels, so that is a printing press factory. Plast Packaging makes containers and jars. And our new baby, Plast Packaging, is 6 years old. Our new baby, Aroma Care, is going towards 2 years. And Aroma Care was born out of a synergy of, we have the advantage of labeling, we have the advantage of packaging, and so let us look at a product that we can be able to put out to the market. And so we saw the opportunity in cosmetics. So we normally tell people we give total packaging solutions. So if you come to our factory and you're producing water or let's say juice, I should be able to give you the bottle, the label, the cup, and the seal. So you leave totally ready. So that is what we mean by offering total packaging solutions. Some of the sectors that we serve cut across what I've listed here, we have cosmetic and household, food and beverage, oil and lubricants, and vet and agrochemical. These are very sensitive sectors that are based on certain food and safety standards. And by being a contracted manufacturer or a service provider of an element that these sectors need to fulfill their demands of putting out product to the market, then that means that also our quality is very stringent because it is based on their different quality expectations, all that has been listed here before. So for instance, I would look at some of our clients. If I look at Dawa Pharmaceuticals, we have a designated plant that has very limited human access because the kind of packaging we are making is going to do pharmaceutical products for human consumption. If we have True Foods, Nobruk, Lion's Made, Ultravetis, Farmer's Choice. For Farmer's Choice, we make their labels, High Chem, Trigger Chemicals. So this is a cross-section of some of the clients that we serve in the sector, and the opportunity therein for them is what are some of the extended trends or market preferences that we could be able to take advantage of as a business. And so if we look at the opportunities, then we are looking at the trends as well. A lot of the people in this room are in this sector, farm to fork, right? Whatever you do goes to the table. We also now have farm to skin, right? These days you'll see ladies, we are doing everything natural, right? We are trying to be everything free. So we are getting towards farm to skin. So you will go home, gentlemen, and find your wife's face covered in avocado. But that is what we are talking about, farm to skin. Now we are also looking at lab to skin. Why are we looking at lab to skin? Because of the different variances from farm to skin. Someone will collect what they assume is a certain variety of avocado oil or coconut oil, and then go to Google and check, and Google will tell them if you mix avocado, castor oil, and coconut oil, your hair will grow in 1 week. But now the thing is standards and quality. You don't know what level of avocado, coconut, and castor oil to add. So then that would mean we also need to go towards lab, because the farm also has an element that needs to be standardized. We go from lab to skin. And a good example I put is a lot of the edible oils and products that we have recently on the market. Ken Test is a product that you can cook with and you can apply from head to toe. In fact, matter of fact, a lot of ladies these days prefer it for babies, in addition to whatever else we are using. And that's the question I keep asking. Why should we use Arimi's milking jelly? We need to find alternative products of similar quality, because that product is designed for animals, isn't it? It's designed for a certain part of the cow. Yeah? So if we need to regulate some of these things and standardize them, because those are some of the market opportunities that are there. The market is very, very conscious now for organic-led products. And so that is why we look at what is going forward. So here I'm talking about the organic personal care industry is expected to reach 25.11 billion by 2025. So how does our project work for opportunities and the Big Four agenda? We are looking at employment and employment. A lot of us here know someone who is doing something in cosmetics. If they're able to be formalized, those are some of the challenges we're talking about, and we standardize this quality, then some of the worries we have about food and safety might be dealt with. Let us talk about scaling up manufacturing, creating healthy competition with imported goods, because we will not rule them out entirely. Increasing the tax bracket, encouraging entrepreneurship as a national culture. And why are we looking at encouraging entrepreneurship as a national culture? When the government has said that you can no longer produce your shampoo in your house, that can kill someone's dream of growing. But if they can find a common use facility or a joint group of people who are working together either as entrepreneurs through partnership or any other means, then you can be able to fulfill your dream and continue by being compliant and still participating in the national economy.
We will continue. The next one, as I told you, is planned for the 19th of February 2020.
This experience sharing workshop has been very insightful for us as a wake-up call in our sector. The importance of food safety when it comes to cosmetic products cannot be understated. In Kenya, it is not looked at as a serious thing to consider, but again, what is ingested or applied on the skin is still absorbed into the body, and so it has food and safety concerns. Those are some of the things that struck us in participation in this workshop, and we've been able to send our team members, our production line managers in our cosmetic line to be part of this training so that we can be able to look at our processes.
If it is wrong from production, it is wrong from production, it will be wrong to consume.